So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. I'm Meredith, and this is also podcast. And I've got a very special guest with me today. But before I get into it, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to everything: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon. Everything is in our bio. We've got my amazing best friend from college. We have way too much lore between us, but we've always loved reality TV. We haven't always talked about it, which I've kind of realized is a thing with a lot of my friends. I feel like a lot of people watch reality TV and like do it solo, and then you find someone who watches the same show as you and it like dives in. So I know we've talked about quite a few shows, but not like your history of watching TV.
Never.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Allie.
you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
I'm nervous, but excited to be here.
I know, it's like funny to have me and Alicia having like friends on, because so much of our watching history has been with other people. Like me and Alicia met only 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's like fun to kind of like have the walk through our own histories of TV.
Yeah. I'm excited. We have a
Well,
lot to cover.
Let's start off with how we met, because that is
Okay.
an iconic time.
Okay. I feel like you should tell this story.
Allie and I went to college together. We went to the University of Kansas, which
Mhm.
we're currently sitting in Lawrence, Kansas talking about this. So this makes it even better. To watch
Yes.
this
I live here. Yeah. Lucky me.
I applied, committed early, and then
Mhm.
one of our mutual friends who I went to high school with
And
decided
I worked
late.
with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Decided late she was going to come to KU. Her and I decided to room together. And it was
Really
like,
late.
Yeah.
Like, let me just note that. Like,
Yes.
love you, girl, but really late. Like
'Cause
May.
I already had a dorm. I already had a room.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, let's room together. And I was like scrambling, like, what do we do? Because there was like a lottery of sorts. When you committed, you got a place in line to get your dorm. And so
Yeah.
like you wanted to commit early so then you can get a better dorm. I remember you knowing exactly what dorm you wanted to live
Yeah,
in.
we were in the first group, me and my
Yeah.
roommate at the time. So we knew, and my mom even called the dorm and talked to the girl at the dorm and was like, what's the best room on this? And they were like, oh, they're all good. And she's like, no, seriously. And so we had our specific number down.
Okay, I wasn't that organized, but I was early.
Yeah,
to the
no, you were super, yeah,
commuting.
really, yeah.
She accepted late. And so then we miraculously found our room, which ended up
Yeah.
being an amazing floor. Like we all have friends from that floor.
Yeah.
It was like late June. She's like, oh, you should meet somebody else going to KU. You know, I've been working with her for years. I'm like, great. So I remember it was like right after 4th of July. We're both from St. Louis.
Mhm.
We go to Forest Park. They always have films being played in the park.
Mhm.
And she's like, yes, it's one of my favorite movies. Let's go watch this. And we're like, great, we get to meet somebody else. We'll chit chat. You know,
Mhm.
like this is going to be so fun. What's the movie?
Casablanca.
Yes.
And she was in between us.
Yes.
They had food trucks. We got like
Yeah.
great Italian food from the hill.
And we're like chatting beforehand. The
Yeah.
movie starts, it like gets dark, and Colleen is locked in.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what movie we were going to go see, and I did not
I
know
didn't
it was in,
either.
like-
That was the first and only black and white movie I've ever watched to this day.
Well, I wouldn't say we watched it.
No, we didn't watch it. No.
We didn't
No.
watch it. Colleen's in the middle of us, and we're
Mhm.
talking behind her. And
Mhm.
Colleen's like, can you guys not? This is my favorite movie.
Yeah. And then the fireworks started going
I couldn't.
behind the
fountains-
screen.
The fountains were going
Yes. ADHD going off.
off. I was like,
Off the rails.
this isn't happening.
No. But we really hit it off though.
Yeah.
And then we went to a Cardinals game a few weeks later.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Was that with Sarah?
I think so.
Okay.
Mhm. There were 4 of us,
Yeah,
I remember.
it ha- I
Yeah.
think
I
it was
feel like it
Sarah.
was her. Yeah.
Yeah, we moved in, and I remember I was having a tough rush, and Colleen was busy, and you and I, like, you comforted me so much during that time. Immediately hit the ground running once we were at KU, because our
Yeah.
dorms were right next to each other.
Yep.
I like that we were in different dorms, like you weren't on our floor
Yeah.
that first semester.
Yeah.
And then Allie moved to our floor,
Yeah.
which added so much chaos.
Yes. And we'll get into all that. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Freshman year was probably, to this day, one of the best years I've ever had in my life.
I agree. We've been
Yeah.
talking all weekend about how, like, I would transport back to, if I had a time machine, back to college
Mhm.
in our time, not like
Mhm.
this modern college era. Like, I wouldn't want to go back to college right now.
No, but like 2013.
Fall 2013.
Fall 2013 was a time to be alive. I think if I could go back, my freshman year was a little bit like this.
Yeah.
So I would have picked sophomore year,
I get
not
that.
freshman year,
Yeah.
but that's just a personal thing. But all 4 years though, like top 4, probably,
Consecutive
yeah,
years.
consecutive best 4 years of my life. Like Like, just so much fun.
My dad always said that whenever I was growing up, and I didn't get
so
it
did my mom.
until-
Yeah, she was like, you're gonna have the best time of your life.
And we did.
Yeah, we did. We lived it up. Like, I really, not in a sappy way, but I don't know how I would have survived the 4 years without you. Like, we did
I couldn't agree more.
so much together. We made college so fun.
Because we lived separate lives, but in tandem. And I feel like my best friendships lived that way. Where like we weren't in the same sorority, but like we knew each other's friends, so it was easy to be in each other's worlds.
Right.
But like our entire life wasn't like codependent and required the other to be there.
For sure.
So what is the most debaucherous thing you think that we did that fall semester freshman year? Because we were at our worst.
We were at our worst. I think just going out, like, I don't know if there was one specific thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I think just like we went out probably 4 nights a week, most weeks. I think one kind of diabolical thing we would used to do, I don't know if you remember this, you probably do because you have a great memory, is we would go in line, mainly at the Hawk, and we would just go out with like not even a purse, no money, and we just bring our ID in our pocket, or like maybe a credit card if we had to, but no cash. And we would just see who we could get to pay our cover and buy drinks, and it was like a fun game of what we could get away with.
We were able to do it.
Yeah, I think there were like maybe 2 times for somebody we had to ask a friend because there just was like no one really around, but we were like, all right, I'll Venmo you or whatever it was, or like I'll give you cash in the morning. We got away with it.
Is cover, this is so mean, and I'm gonna have to bleep this name out, but I have to say it for you.
Okay.
Is I would lay in my bed, my makeup would be done, I wouldn't be dressed yet, but my makeup would be done, I'd be like, I'm not going out, and be like, I'll pay your cover, and I'd be like, okay. Oh, I guess I'm in.
Yeah,
now.
convince me.
Like, Jesus. And then I would just get dressed really quickly because like everything else was done. My hair was done. My makeup was done. I was like, no, I'm not feeling it tonight. And she'd be like, because she's not great at like sparking up conversations with people. So she'd be like, I need you to be out. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you brought the party when we went out. You found the right people. You got us drinks. Like you found all the connections.
Really good at like standing on those, I don't know if you remember it, that concrete block in the boom boom room.
Yeah.
Right against the bar. Aaron and I would stand up there and scream, shots! And somebody would go, yeah. But they would be with a friend group and they'd be like, 6 shots. And we'd go, 8.
Yeah.
Because once you're buying a group shots, it's like, what's 2 more?
Yeah. I think you have to kind of describe what the boom boom room is.
Well, I have to like take it a step back and go for what the Hawk is first.
True.
And I describe this to people like that I live with in Chicago is there's these 2 houses that are sitting right next to each other. They bought them, they put a bridge in between them, which is crazy. And then the basements of both of those houses are each their own room of the bar. You've got the classy martini room.
Classy.
It had a
classy at 18.
It had a leather couch.
Classy at 18 when you were in the right state of mind.
Yes. And then the other side was a lot more debaucherous, called the Boom Boom Room, with big letters outside of it. The lines would start as if it was its own bar at like 10 p.m. You would get in early.
Yeah.
You get in, dark room, DJ, like a whole dance floor. There were some stairs, which was kind of crazy for it being so dark.
Yeah, there were.
But once you got in, you were like, I'm not leaving.
No, it was kind of exclusive. It felt like when you were in, I feel like you would have more fun in other rooms. But if you were in
there to have fun.
Yeah.
So many people were making out. People would have sex in there.
Yeah. The picture, I was telling that to somebody the other day of the boom boom room couple. If you just Googled that, the picture would show up and it's no longer, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Serious?
Yes. And I was trying so hard to describe this to somebody because it was the year before our freshman year, I think, of when it happened.
I think it was on Valentine's Day weekend.
I think it was too. Yeah.
Wow, an anniversary of
it really is. Like, wow, probably almost 15 years ago now. That's we're really old. Me too.
They're probably living life separately.
Very separate, I think. Yeah, for sure.
How did couples survive the boom?
Beats me.
Most people you would like make out with them and not even know what their face looked like because it was dark in there. You wouldn't get their name. Like, it just, things happened in there.
Yes. And the line to get into the boom boom room was always insane. Like, but it wasn't like sardines. It wasn't a line. It was a mosh pit.
It was like a funnel into one in, one out type of mentality.
Yeah.
Like where you would get one and you'd be like pulling your friends to try to like weasel your way to the front of the mosh pit.
Yeah. I will say I was never happier to be a girl in my life than 18 in that mosh pit.
Couldn't agree more.
In line for the boom boom room because the bouncers would come out and they're like, if you're a girl, and they would just kind of look and you're like, yep. And then they would just pull the girls in because they wanted more girls to fill it, so it had a better ratio of guys to girls. So that was always like, oh sweet, we can get in sooner.
When you got a text saying, I know the guy working that side door in between the two houses, and when you came in the front area, you would just take immediate right, go down those stairs in between the two houses and get let into the side door of the boom. Electric. Because sometimes people would try to go into the martini room trying to sweet talk that side door guy.
And I would always try to bring Sharpies. Like there were names written all over the walls. The ambiance is something else.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved bringing Sharpies when I thought about it. Or if there was somebody in from out of town visiting, or like when you would bring your parent or something on those like parent weekends, my mom would always bring Sharpies. And it was always fun to like go back and see my name, or like my grandlittle in my sorority found my name somewhere and sent me a Snapchat of her like, pointing to it. So that was always kind of fun to see those kinds of things.
She would come in town, and I remember the best and the worst for us was exam week freshman year, fall semester.
That's a good way to put it.
Decided to go out. I think we went on either on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday night. And nobody was out because obviously people were studying. We had our journalism 101 final the next day at like 1 p.m. We were like, we're fine. It was your mom, her friend, the two of us. We go out. The basketball team is out with the managers. Yeah. And like, that's it. And that was the time of our life. We got so much shit because we knew those basketball managers.
Yeah. We still have those photos too. That's like, what a time to be alive. That was trays of shots that they would bring out. I mean, like 3 or 4 trays. Yeah. For the whole group, but
they got so many free drinks. Yeah. And they're so easy to spot too, since they're all so fucking tall. Even the managers we knew were tall. But the minute I saw tall people, I said, I need to go find those 2 guys, and they will get me a drink for free.
Yeah. Not to segue, but tall people in basketball. Yeah. One thing I love about you that I've learned and kind of admired about you throughout the years, that I've learned to be more like this. I did not have the skill at 18. Now I feel like I do. But you were always the person, like I remember when Trey Songz was at Allen Fieldhouse and we heard that he was there. Yeah. And we were in line for the game, or, we were in our seats, whatever. We walked out to get food or to the bathroom or whatever. And you were like, we're going to get a picture. We are going to. He was right there. And there was a huge line. And you just go, hold on. And you grab me and you go, excuse us. And just, we got the next picture, and then he was pretty much done after that. Yeah. You cut off all the people, but we got our picture.
Around. It wasn't like a formal line, because I know he would cut people in a formal line.
Yeah.
If he was like willing to take pictures.
Yeah, it was kind of like who was going to be aggressive to go in next.
For him to like walk past and be like, I'm just going to walk up to him because he's either going to say yes or no. My big thing is, if I don't know you and probably will never see you again,
it doesn't matter.
I'm embarrassing myself in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, you're just some college kid, and he's never going to see you again in his life.
He doesn't love attention. Like, he's gonna want to take the photo, but he will get annoyed. So like, I'm not gonna wait to be polite in those moments.
No, we took one quick photo and we were done.
I know. I remember that photo.
I remember that so vividly. I'm trying to think of what else freshman year.
I definitely more so, but you lived in tandem with me, have a very chaotic life.
100%.
And then you collect chaotic people.
Yeah, I really do. No, I really do. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, is this because of me? No,
you didn't do any, but you were the person everybody comes to and says, listen to what just happened to me.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I did it 2 weeks ago with that chaotic Sunday I had.
Yeah. That was a lot. That was a lot, though, that was out of your control. But for some reason, I have been that person that people will come and talk to and give me the tea.
You're very open, non-judgmental, but like you kiki about it. Like you were like, tell me the details. Let's like giggle about it. We'll figure life out. Yeah. Like everything will be fine, but like give me all the details and I won't ever give you like a look at like, I cannot believe you did that.
But for the most part.
Well, there's
I think so. But there is a line.
The person would first be like, I can't believe I did that. And you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So let's go through some of the chaotic people we interacted with in college.
Where do you want to start?
I'm seeing that Hot Megan.
Okay, so this one started. So my now husband, who we had a kind of thing throughout high school.
We would now define it as a situationship.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was not a term when we were in college. Yeah, but a little rocky road, a little bit of a fuck boy, and then things calmed down, started dating at the end of my freshman year, at the end of our freshman year. Before that, one of his really good family friends, they're from Texas. Also, their son is our age, came to KU, and he texted me one day, there was a Jimmy John's by our dorms,
Oh, yeah.
And he texted me out of the blue because we would always see him out.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm getting Jimmy John's. Like, are you in your dorm? Do you want a sandwich?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Texted him my order. He came over and was just sitting on the futon, and we were just like having a very normal conversation, eating our Jimmy John's. And then he was like, "Oh my God, I hooked up with a girl who lives in this dorm. Hold on," and just starts scanning through his phone, finds her number, and I'm kind of sitting next to him, look over, and her name is in his phone as Hot Megan. And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "Let me text her and see if she's here." And I'm like, "Okay." Very weird. And so he did, and she was like, "Yeah, come down and say hi." So she was maybe 3 floors below me at the time. We walked down and we're just hanging out with her, said hello. I'd pass her every once in a while on campus, downtown, whatever. We would just like wave and acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
And then the beginning of the school year, and then Halloween was around the corner. I saw her one time in the stairwell, and she stopped me and she was like, "I want to talk to you about him," basically, and went into this whole thing. And we were just standing in the stairwell talking for like 30 minutes. And then she was like, "What are you doing for Halloween? We should do something." And her and I, through college and through a good amount after, were pretty inseparable. But yeah, that's the lore with Hot Megan. But she was always, I mean, to this day, it's like anyone who we know, my mom, my mother-in-law now, they'll all still call her Hot Megan to this day.
She was your roommate.
She was my roommate.
You guys
I
made
had a
my
really,
floor.
really hard roommate my freshman year, or well, first semester.
Yeah.
And then I met Hot Megan, and then we moved onto your floor. Okay, so what was hard was I'm a bit of a diva, as we all that you don't know, but
we
I
know.
am high maintenance. Okay, if you know me, it's not a surprise.
But you will do the maintenance.
I will do the maintenance.
Yeah.
I'll happily do the maintenance and pay for the maintenance
Yes.
to make my life easier.
Yes.
Like, do I get a blowout once or twice a month? Absolutely. I
You
hate
have
washing my
very
hair.
thick hair.
I do have very thick hair, and I don't have a lot of patience
Yeah.
for my hair. What was really hard for me, though, is we had, I think, the biggest room in Corbin. And so my closet was enormous.
Yeah.
Like, we had so much space.
Yeah.
And then we moved into your floor, and that was
tiny closet.
tiny closet. I mean, it was like half the size of my room, less than half the closet space. That was really hard for me at the time. So bad roommate turned into a good roommate at the time.
Just less space
was the issue.
Yeah.
I remember she got mad at me for getting sick, and I snored a little bit in my sleep. There were all these things before.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the final straw for me. We had class at the same time, whatever morning. So I knew I was coming down with a cold.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how bad it was yet because it was day one. And so I'm just sleeping. I wake up. She's not in her bed. And she was up early, but like I'm also up pretty early.
Like more of an early riser.
Yeah. And so she just wasn't in her bed. Would start to get ready. I didn't see her we had communal bathrooms. Didn't see her in the bathroom. She didn't come back after, I don't know, 25 minutes, which I was like, "You're not in the shower. You're not brushing your teeth. Where are you? What are you doing? You're not at class that earlier." And I was just so confused. Eventually she comes in with a blanket wrapped around her head, like a hood.
So dramatic.
So dramatic. And like, if I'm dramatic, it's and then she comes in like that. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she just goes, didn't say anything, wouldn't make eye contact with me. And I was like, okay, tried to ask her another question or two, nothing. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to class. And then just nothing. Okay. So then as soon as I'm on the bus, I get a text that was so long that, you know, it has a little arrow and turns into the note. And she was like, "You cannot do this. You need to fix this. This is a problem. You snored." And I was like, I have a cold. Like, I'm sorry I snored a little bit. It's going to go away in less than a week. Like, maybe I snored for 2 days. Sorry. I literally can't do anything. Then anyway, fast forward, I get the medicine. I have the earplugs. I talk to you guys. I go in the room and I look at her, and she hasn't seen me all day. I avoided my room literally all day. And I was just like, "Hey, I'm going to go sleep in their room," and just slammed the earplugs and the medicine on her desk. And I was like, "Here's what I'm doing. Here's this." And I had a bottle of melatonin and slammed that on her desk too. And I was like, "Maybe this will help you sleep tomorrow night or whenever I'm back." And she just goes,
"I love it."
And I was like, "Whatever, screw you." And then I remember I slept on your floor, and I was like, "I'm so sorry if I keep you up." I didn't keep you guys up. Both of you said that you couldn't hear me at all.
This even. Like, it was not a traumatic experience for you to snore slightly in the night.
Thank you. But that's how dramatic she was. And even my now mother-in-law would come over and would check on me even before we were dating, and she would come over and she's just like, would bring me like a case of water bottles or just check on me and, you know, whatever, bring me snacks or something.
Which your mother-in-law is best friends with your mom too.
Yes.
This wasn't like your situation.
No, yeah, bringing me snacks. Yeah. We need to like preface that a little bit. Yes. Both of our moms went to KU in the 80s and met through a mutual friend and became best friends and roommates their sophomore year, and you know, stayed in touch throughout the years. So I remember one time she brought me just water bottles, like being really sweet. She was sitting on our little futon just talking to me for less than 10 minutes. The roommate comes in with an eye mask, like on her forehead, not, you know, obviously on her eyes because she's walking around. She just looks at me, looks at my mother-in-law, and then looks back at me, and she goes, "When is she leaving?" And she was like, "I guess right now." Like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Okay, I'll walk you out." Like, "I'm really sorry. That was rude."
We like never spent time in your room during the fall.
Never.
We hated
She was
people
the
being
worst, but she always had people in.
I remember getting ready once in your room. One time, and I think you were like, "Yeah, no, she's gone," either for the weekend.
Yeah,
or like
I don't
she's
even remember
already,
that.
Like, probably at her sorority with her girlies.
Yeah, she had a boyfriend too, so she could have been there. Yeah, what quite the time. Yes, lots of people.
List.
This one,
hot golfer.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a situationship because nothing really like happened between us. This golfer at KU. I had a class with, oh God, she was a girl in your sorority, this golfer. And then there was another guy or girl, I don't know, but the four of us took speech, you know, you're like freshman year prerequisite or whatever together. There were, I mean, a million of these versions of these classes. So you had like a 20-person class, and a lot of them were kind of losers. Like, no offense to those people, but like, I'm outgoing. You know me. Like, I'm a yapper, especially in a speech class where I'm told to go stand up and talk. Like, you quickly like find your people in your classes. And I'm someone, I would make friends immediately in every single one of my friends. I still remember I met a girl in a Spanish class, and people thought I knew her my whole life. And I was like, no, I literally met her 2 weeks ago. We all like became like good school friends, but nobody hung out afterwards. Like the one girl in your sorority, we would see her out and stuff. So I would talk to her a bit more. But this guy was like, he was super fun. I thought he was cute. He was in the business school like I was. So then we had lecture hall classes together, but you're not talking to people like that. I definitely had his number by the end of the year of freshman year. And so like we were texting more. We had classes together. He didn't give a shit about school. I cared about school. But I also wanted the athletics department notes. They would get such good study packets, and I loved that shit. So him and I started trading stuff, like my actual class notes for his exam like preparation stuff. And so like we honestly studied a lot then the fall of sophomore year, and that's how we started hanging out and talking more. And we were definitely flirting, but nothing was happening, which is so weird. This was just a giant flirtationship. And I always tell people, this guy I think is so funny because I would see him out and we would not talk to him. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. And I don't think that would come to mind if like we didn't have all, like you didn't say that, but now that you say it, you never communicated. I can't picture him in my head though right now.
I can because I knew him. Yeah. Was like crushing on him. Yeah. But like we both had insomnia too. And so we would stay up like late and talk because like nobody's awake at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Yeah. So we texted a lot during that time. And that's how we like got to know each other really well. But it's like I knew him so in depthly, never engaged our friends in it in a social aspect. Mm-hmm. So it was actually so weird. But I remember by the end of it had to be like second semester, sophomore year. I wasn't going out as much. So like only one of us would be out at times. And like he would call me to come pick him up from the Hawk and I'd be sober at home, and I would, which is crazy. Like I didn't tell people that.
No, I was going to say, I don't think I've ever heard that. Yeah.
And then I would drop him off at the towers, which like for people who didn't go to KU were these like apartments, but mainly the athletes stayed in them. Like a normie could be in there, but it was rare. Yeah. And then the summer before I went abroad, after our sophomore year, I stayed here in Lawrence. Yes. And he was back in Minnesota. And that's like the most serious our talking was, is we talked every single day, like every single night, like it was constant. And then we got into this huge fight because he was drinking and driving, and I got really upset with him, and I literally cut him off and then went abroad and met my abroad boy. Yes. And so I like quickly 180'd out of it. But whenever I got back from abroad, I was mad at abroad boy, and I texted hot golfer, and he was in a relationship, and I was like, damn it.
Okay, you also taught me something with these, like deleting numbers or maybe going back. Something I remember you doing, not in a bad way, is you would delete their number, like
Yeah.
delete your text. But then if you remembered the first few phone numbers, if you type that in, it would say like recent, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So it would still auto-populate their phone number.
Yeah, but I didn't have all the history of it because I would
Yes.
work myself up. Yeah, Golfer and I would get into so many dumb fights because again, nothing was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would get he was my first, like, people on the podcast know this, that I'm like, was a rage texter. I love to yell at boys, especially in college, actually. But I wasn't as mean to them as I have been in modern history with rage texting people. Him and I would both kind of rage text at each other. Like, we would get drunk, get mad at each other, have a fight, wake up the next morning, be nice to each other, and be like, let's forget it and move on.
Mhm.
But in the big fights with Hot Golfer, I'd delete all of our texts. I would delete his number.
Mhm.
And like, sometimes I would block him so the text didn't come through if he was like on a night out. But then I would unblock it the next morning. He would text me an apology. We'd restart it up again.
Sounds about right. That's exactly how I remember it.
The texting was good story material, that it was like constantly a topic of you and me and like Aaron. Like, everybody like knew about him. I always had a story to tell about this guy.
Yes.
For never sleeping with that man. And that's why it's so weird the girl in your sorority came up and
I don't even know who you're talking about.
I don't remember what her name is. Let me tell you this story and like, let's see if this jogs a memory. But we were sitting in the library and this girl came up to us. She was in your sorority, a year younger than us.
Okay.
She was from the same hometown as Hot Golfer. And she was like, I know him. He's a bad guy. I heard you're talking to him. And she was like, you shouldn't pursue anything with him.
And where's he from? Minnesota?
He's from Minnesota.
Okay.
And I was like, girly, there's really nothing happening here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're texting all the time, but like, I knew that was nothing. Like,
Right.
This is just kind of like something that's entertaining while we're like bored during the weekday.
Yeah.
And then we go have our maniac weekend separately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was making out with other guys in bars while avoiding Hot Golfer. So
Right.
like, this is nothing.
You weren't exclusive, obviously.
That
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
I was like, nothing's really happening here. Like, why are you accosting me in a library? I didn't know this girl. You just knew of her because you were in the same sorority. And she walked away and we looked at each other and we were like, this is so weird.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out who this is. But that is weird.
Yeah.
That is a weird thing. I feel like I either don't remember those details or
I don't know who the girl was.
yeah.
Like, I could not even pick her out of a crowd, but I was just like, oh, okay. And we
Yeah.
looked at each other and we like laughed when she walked away because we were like, that was weird.
That's very strange. But he was a big part of freshman year.
But the problem is we just never ingratiated our friends.
No, but we would hear about him
Yeah.
every weekend.
I remember people would be like, he's here tonight at the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, of course he is.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is with the boom boom room separation or the downstairs room separation of the Hawk, I'm kind of glad we went into the geography of that, is when you got into the boom and your other friends weren't, like, you had completely separate nights. Same with like the
Yeah.
martini room, is you'd be like, well, I won't see you because I'm in the boom boom room. Like, you're not getting in. It's too late.
And I feel like that was the only bar that was like that. It was a very specific
Yeah.
thing, but you could avoid people
Yes. Yes.
at the Hawk.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would always be like, we would like say like, oh, like come find me tonight. But like, I am always someone who I'm gonna go out with my friends. Like, whoever I go out with, I'm planning on having a good night with. Or I would
Right.
know who I was gonna go see and like kind of ditch some friends to go hang out with specific people. But I was never someone to be like, oh, I'm gonna ditch my friends to go hang out with a boy. Like, I loved having fun with our girlfriends. Like,
Yeah,
we had a
same.
good group.
We did.
And so it's like, well, you need to come find me because like I'm gonna be having fun with my friends.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
No, it wasn't. I mean, he was a thought.
Yeah.
But it was, but your
He was in
goal
my
was never
priority.
like, I'm going to leave and go home with him.
Yeah, because we were always on the hunt for free drinks. So to be
Yeah.
honest, you're not my priority. I'm trying to get a drink here.
Right.
Yeah, he was like my weekday crush. And then I just like lived my own life on the weekend.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it crazy to think about like the things with boys that made us so mad at 18?
Correct.
And also,
Correct.
like, his name will always be Hot Golfer to me.
Yeah.
It took me a second to think about what his first name
We talked
actually
about it.
is. And we did talk about it.
Yeah.
But it took me a second to think about it. I really had to think about what it was. I don't know. I feel like a lot of girls do this though. Like they'll just have a nickname for a
know.
guy that they're seeing or that they have a crush on, and you'll really never know their first name unless it's something that becomes serious.
But we were not consciously doing that. Like we didn't.
No.
He had a name that was like, it's like French, so it's like kind of it's annoying to pronounce. So I think that's why we did that, because the boy I was interested in fall semester freshman year, who lived like on the fourth floor of he was fourth floor boy, because like we lived in the same
Yes.
fucking dorm. So like you can't just drop a first name like that.
No.
We did that code because he lived with us.
Mhm.
Whereas the golfer was because his name was annoying to say.
If you're referencing something, it's Hot Golfer. It's
Yeah,
fourth floor.
everybody
boy.
knew.
Everyone knew who you're talking about. I feel like that's kind of a good segue to the fourth floor.
We were talking to your husband about the fourth floor.
I've told so many people this leading up to this week, knowing that I was going to be on the podcast. I was like, let me tell you this story. Nobody can believe it. I feel like this is a really weird thing to say.
Oh, I know. Like, this is why I started out with, you're not a chaotic person, but chaotic things happen around you. I'm a chaotic person. This one, we didn't do anything. We
were sitting
downstairs from all of this. I had to explain to your husband, like, who these people also were to us. That, like, we knew one side of the fourth floor because, like, I was interested in one of the boys and he was in the suite on that floor. And then, like, we knew the whole suite mates and then a few others that they hung out with. And we would go out with them. I remember going to some house parties with them.
I remember that too.
So they were chaotic upstairs. They would do a lot of things to me and my roommate before you moved onto our floor, like putting their couch in our, like, walkway. Like, we could not leave our floor once without climbing over a couch, because when they got hammered one night, they carried their common room couch down in front of our thing. They would steal every door sign me and Colleen put on our door. They would just do so many things to us. And it's because, like, I was interested in the one boy, but they just also were chaotic energy.
They were.
But these boys didn't necessarily do what we're about to say, but I'm just saying
no,
the fourth floor
it was on the fourth floor.
Was chaos. And then this added the floor. So take it away.
Well, there's two parts to it, and you don't remember one part, but I remember it clear as day.
Really?
With the snake.
No.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to say that first then.
Okay.
Because that's your reaction. So one night we were up there. I don't think anyone was even, like, drinking. We just went up to hang out with them. And they had a foreign exchange student who was living on the floor. He didn't speak English very well at all. So it was kind of hard to converse with him sometimes to understand exactly what he was saying. Yeah. You know, you weren't supposed to have pets. You'd have, like, a goldfish or something, but no pets. So one day he just walks into their, like, common room, or where they had their 4-person thing where we would hang out.
Had 2 rooms in a common area, but they put all their beds in one of the rooms. Yeah. They put all their desks in their common room, and then they put 3 futons in another of the rooms. Yeah. It was awesome.
It was awesome. So it was basically like just a giant couch situation hangout room. But so we were just sitting there one night, all just hanging out, like, talking. Everything was super normal. And then the foreign exchange student comes in with a pet snake in his little carrier. And we were all like, what is this? And we were trying to ask questions, and that's where I bring up the fact that he didn't really speak much English because he couldn't even communicate what was going on, like, properly.
Yeah, you couldn't get the details.
Yeah, we're like, why do you have a snake?
Yeah.
You couldn't get the right answer. And so we were just kind of like, okay. So we're sitting there. 30 minutes later, he takes it out of the carrier, puts the head of the snake in his mouth.
I have heard you tell this story, but I don't have this in my memory.
It's so vivid to me. I literally remember it like it's just a reel playing over and over and over on a loop in my head. We were all, like, screaming, jaws dropped on the floor, and then he pulled the snake head out and put it back in its thing, and just eventually, like, left and went back to his room. And we were like,
you're like, okay,
what's going on? Another day in KU. Yeah, I mean, what's happening? But so the same kid, I guess, found a dead raccoon outside. Again, we don't know all the details, but there was a picture on Twitter at the time. I'm assuming somebody on the 4th floor, one of the boys, tweeted it.
That we knew, I think, tweeted it.
Yeah, and we tried to find it yesterday, but could not. But he, not that we would show that anyway, but just so we could see it, but tweeted a picture of him holding a dead raccoon like this, like it was a prize, up in the communal shower, and there was blood.
It was the solo shower, because they always had their boys' floor, like every floor had, like, a solo bathroom in case there was a opposite sex guest.
Yes,
so it was in that one. Girl guest came.
Yep, you're right. And so there was blood on the bottom, like by the drain, and he was just holding it up like it was a prize. And then we found out that he ended up skinning the raccoon. And then you told me yesterday, I didn't even remember that the cleaning lady,
there was so much blood when the cleaning lady came to clean the bathroom the next day.
She thought someone died.
She thought somebody was killed in the bathroom and ran to our floor. Yeah. Because we were one down, to call 911. And then the cops came. They saw it was just a raccoon. No dead person there. I don't know what happened to him. I can't remember.
No, I don't remember him after that semester. So maybe he was only there for a semester. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't up there hanging out with us a lot, but enough that, like, it wasn't weird if he just came in the room and just sat down.
Yeah, because that was the vibe of, like, those guys on that floor.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Yeah. Yeah, but, like, what a memory. Yeah. You can't make it up.
No.
something I will never forget. I wish I could forget it.
I always think about that cleaning lady finding it, and it makes me so sad for her.
Yeah, I would have been so freaked out.
Yeah, and I remember I don't know who was standing there, but I think it must have been like our suite girls, because like my end of the hallway had the suite, and then like I was standing down by my room chatting about it, and then the girl from the solo room came out who was quirky and was like, "Oh, like did they do anything with the skull? Like do you think I can have it?" And we were like, "What?" Like this is just getting worse. Like why are people keeping bones, and why are people bringing animals into our dorms?
Yeah.
The boys also broke the window walking up to like our third, and it was up to the third floor. They broke the window of the stairwell, and it was just a giant hole, glass everywhere, like after a night out. Like I saw everything. They obviously cleaned it up, patched it with like a wood board, but the board was there for weeks. Why are we breaking the glass in the stairwell? And it was like thick ass glass.
It was. Yeah.
And I don't know who did that, because I don't think it was one of the guys we knew, because nobody had like a cast on their hand.
No. And I feel like we would remember that, or they would have told us that happened. I mean, we weren't going to rat them out. So I feel like that's something, we were up there enough that's something I think that would have been shared. Hall. Yeah.
Because we used to sit every Sunday after a whole weekend, well, a whole 4 days of going out. We would sit on Sundays, we would tap in. We'd be like the first in line for food, because I don't think it opened until 11 a.m. on Sunday, our dining hall.
That sounds right. We
would like scan in, go get breakfast, sit down at a table, a 6-person table. We pull it away from the wall so like 8 people could sit around it. We just sit there, swap stories, and we would sit there for so long. It would be the next mealtime, and they would have changed over all of the food, and we would just gab all day long. It was the best.
Yeah. It was a good time. I mean, we didn't have anything else to do. No. And you didn't want to sit in your dorm room alone. Yeah, it was a good time. And no one else did that.
No.
We were the only group that
like loved the dining hall and would like gossip so hardcore.
Yeah, but I think it was just nice to not be in the common area room, whatever it was called. But you could be there. You could get food if you wanted. You could get extra like a drink or soda or whatever if you wanted.
Yeah.
You had all of the necessities. If somebody was hungover, you had all the access right there, and we just wanted to hear about everyone's weekend and catch up. And especially if somebody was like out of town or whatever, they would be there too back on the Sunday. So it was like just, I don't know, kind of like a thing to set you up for the week, and it was really fun. But literally no other groups ever did that.
Pivotal moments in my life where I'm like, wow, I really learned to tell a story, and basically that led me to this podcast. And I feel like that is a core one. Like going to an all-girls school does it.
Yeah.
Like sitting and talking every single Sunday.
Yeah.
I tell my therapist all the time, I'm like, see, I'm just a good storyteller too. So sometimes the drama in my life, I feel like I live it up a little bit more, because like it's for the story I'm going to tell everybody eventually.
Yeah.
And it's like Hot Golfer was not that big of an impact in my life, but the storytelling every single week about like a wink at a bar had us on the edge of our seats.
Because now hearing more about him, I'm like, this really wasn't that exciting.
No.
But it in the moment, it felt like it was. And that's probably because of how you were telling the story.
Yes. And the texts were just much more like suggestive, and like it was all happening in the text.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of fights is why it was
like more compelling to hear it.
Yeah. I used to have so many screenshot records of our like fights and stuff. And so like that is what kept the lore going for sure. Are we ready to get into reality TV now?
Yeah. Okay. Let me like sit up straight for this one. Let me readjust.
Yeah, let's get a little serious here.
Okay.
I love to ask everybody that we have on about their journey with reality TV, because reality TV has been along for a long time, and those early shows are a sign of the times, and everybody had different entry points. And I think a lot of people are like Bravo fans now, or we all like cross over into the same thing. So what was the first reality TV show you remember watching?
The very first season of The Bachelor.
Really?
Yes. And I would stay up late in my parents' bed watching it at night. So, I mean, what season are they on? Like, I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I mean, that was
Allie,
a long time ago.
No idea that.
Yeah. So we were watching, my mom and I were just fascinated with it.
Yeah.
And my dad would get so annoyed that we would just watch this, because I mean, my parents would be up that late anyway. He was like, you're keeping her up this young, this late to watch this crap on TV. This is just trashy TV. But we loved it. I mean, so it was just amazing. And I've watched almost every season. I feel like every couple of seasons there will be a dip where I'm just like, that one wasn't as good. Maybe I'll skip a season. I don't care maybe to watch this person's season, whatever. But the very first season was my first intro into reality TV. And then just kind of a cool thing, my aunt and uncle knew someone who went to Trista and Ryan's wedding. I think she was the first bachelorette, right?
I don't know the history of it, but that sounds about familiar.
Yeah, I don't even remember because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But somebody went to their wedding, and I feel like we've been talking a lot about like weddings and how everyone, it's like a bachelorette party or wedding or whatever the last few years. They had a magnet that they gave away, which I feel like was so ahead of the time 25 something years ago, as like a thank you for coming. And my aunt and uncle, and well, the couple didn't even watch the show. They just knew Trista or Ryan.
Yeah.
And so they gave it to my cousin's family because they knew how much they loved the show also. And so they gave them the magnet, and it was on their fridge for a really long time. And I was so jealous that we didn't know them and get a magnet.
Oh my God.
But I just thought that was really cool as something. Now, like, my save the date was a magnet. Not that that's creative now, because it's not, but back then,
people really weren't doing that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so how many seasons would you say of The Bachelor, Bachelorette have you seen, like, percentage wise?
Like 95.
Okay. Do you still watch it?
I'm totally gonna watch the one coming out, and I'm
Frankie Paul?
so excited. Yes, I love her.
You watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
Of course.
Then. Okay. Do you follow her on like TikTok, Instagram?
I follow her on TikTok. I don't follow her on Instagram. I am probably on Instagram more than I am TikTok.
Yep.
I just doom scroll on TikTok for like whatever period of time. Instagram is like too much for me to handle on like a daily basis.
Yeah.
So no.
Okay.
Not there. But I love the show. I like her TikToks.
Yeah.
She's just, and I think she does it for the plot. She's entertaining. She makes great TV, and that's why I'm watching.
Okay, so what do you think about her and Dakota in that last season? Like all the chaos that happened in their relationship that led her to then be single.
I think they're toxic. I don't like Dakota. They're not meant for each other, clearly. But it was great TV. I'd say, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it was a great season. It was great drama.
Absolutely.
I feel like she knows how to play the role. I think she's fabulous.
Okay.
I love her.
Do you look at any spoilers ever whenever you're watching The Bachelor?
There were a few seasons where I did, and then I would watch those individuals more carefully and more closely. And I feel like sometimes when I did that, they weren't filmed a lot, maybe in the beginning. And then it was kind of when they would have like a pivotal moment where then they were filmed a lot more.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is, Sean and Catherine. I think because he went to K-State. I feel like Catherine wasn't filmed a lot until closer to the end, when they were like, maybe she's going to be in like the top 4, the top whatever. And then they were filming her and giving her all the confessionals and like all these things. And so I think after that season, I kind of noticed it. And then I started looking at the spoilers.
Yeah. I tell people, like, you can kind of tell through the production lens, like things that are going to happen, because somebody's going to go home. They have to explain who that person is, so you know who they are going home. Obviously in the Bachelor, Bachelorette early episodes, there's so many people that they're just like pumping and dumping out people. But as people start to go like home and there's like only one eviction, they'll edit people in more so you know who it is who's leaving. And I'm like, sometimes it's a leading edit. You're like, oh, that person's going to go home because we've never really seen them and now they're being introduced. And then also with like the ramp up of winners, like either something really dramatic is going to happen where you need this context of this, they're pitting 2 people against each other, or they're going to be your winner. You're going to get them featured more.
I love it. I love The Bachelor and Bachelorette. I think I'll always be a fan.
Yeah.
It is weird now being around the same age, if not older though, than a lot of them. But I do remember the few seasons where a lot of people were like in their 30s and, you know, it was just a little bit of a different vibe. Now with social media being what it is today, it's just different. But I love it. I love the drama.
Okay, so do you tend to lean more into dating shows and like the love shows, or like what's your genre then in reality TV, or do you think you've widened it out?
I've definitely widen it out. I think I'm very specific with the love shows because I'm not a lovey-dovey person that wants to watch a bunch of romance on TV. That's just not me. But there's just, I think it's because of the drama. And well, back in the day on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, they had to do more competition-y things. And I really enjoyed watching that.
Like they actually would win.
Yes.
Like
kind of challenges. Things like they would make them sing in front of people, or like, you know, they would have to write their song and then perform it, or do like the wrestling things. That is like, I'm living for it. They don't do that anymore.
Like competition means love.
Yes. And I love the competition aspect of it. I think that's what I like more.
Okay.
Than somebody just being like, we have a happy ending. Like I want all the tea leading up to it.
Yeah. You're like, cute
like
date
happy for you.
where you like sat around a table and didn't eat the meal in front of you. Glad you're sharing your trauma.
Yeah. I want the lore. I want the drama. I want the villain. Again, it makes great TV.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm engaged. That's why I'm hooked.
What did you kind of dabble into once you got off or you were always in the Bachelor world, but like
Yeah.
what else did you intro?
Okay, so after that, The Simple Life. To this day, I will
Yeah.
go back and watch reruns. I think Paris Hilton is an icon. I still want to be Paris Hilton when I grow up. I just love her so much. I'm her biggest fan. All of the MTV shows like
Oh my
Next, Room Raiders. I count that as reality. I feel like that's
agree.
reality.
Because that was Gen Z would not understand that, or like
No.
Gen Alpha would not understand that, knowing what now's like reality TV is. But the early days of like Housewives, MTV, like
Mhm.
all this stuff was different. They truly just like watched people do things. Nobody tried to instigate stuff.
No. So like those were amazing to me. And then
Yeah.
also America's Next Top Model
Yes.
and Project Runway. Like
Love.
all those shows, they're all competition things though.
That's true.
And I think that's where
Okay.
I just
But you're
I
not
love
the strategy competition type. Like you never got
No.
into Survivor. You
No.
never got into Big Brother.
No.
Like the challenge. Like,
Nope, never seen an episode
So
of any of them.
you like a competition that is not a mental warfare.
Yeah, I would watch the occasional episode of Fear Factor.
Okay.
Growing up, but half the time I would just be like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't really care." Or my mom would freak out
Mhm.
about a lot of it, and then she would make my dad change the channel. So I mean, that was kind of like a little more in that other category,
Yeah.
but it was fine. But yeah, I guess I would categorize it as like the competition, but like drama.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Project Runway was on Bravo. So was that your first Bravo show?
I guess so. Yeah. What was The Simple Life on?
It wasn't Bravo.
Okay.
It might have been on E.
Maybe. The one thing I will say I have to note on here and have it on the record, one thing I learned from Paris Hilton from The Simple Life is I will never forget she did one where her and Nicole, so this was maybe season 3 or whatever when they
Yeah.
were speaking at the time, but they
Yeah.
still were in the show.
They do like separate things?
Yes. So they did one with a mom who was pregnant.
Okay.
So they had to wear the fake belly and like try to get dressed and move around and do all these
My
things around
God.
the house. And they had the family had like a young daughter who was like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so she was trying to unload the dishwasher and like manage all these things. So she put things away wrong all over the house, didn't vacuum right, gave the daughter like weird snacks. I mean, all these things. And so then the husband never asked her to do any of this again while she was like in that home and
Yeah.
whatever on The Simple Life. And she said something to the extent of like, if you never want to do something again, like don't do it the right way and you'll never get asked to do it. And so I've kind of taken that to heart.
Oh,
And there are
Allie.
certain things where I'll be like, oops.
You execute that vision.
Yes, I do.
I love you so much. Seth, I hope you aren't listening. Her husband.
I don't love to vacuum. Maybe it's all my years in retail of like having to vacuum constantly.
Yeah.
And I don't love our vacuum. I've grown to have a little
utilize
appreciation
it
for
when
our
needed.
vacuum, but I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe it was just at our apartment before the house, but there was something with like I didn't think it was easy to vacuum with that
Mhm.
vacuum. And so then I was like, maybe we should get a Dyson or just, like, let me get the most expensive
helps.
vacuum. But he was like, when you start using it, we can think about getting a new one. So then I did start using it. But I mean, I
hate
pretended
vacuuming
to be a
too,
little
so-
busy sometimes so I wouldn't have to
No,
vacuum.
I'm thrilled that Paris had such an impact on your life.
Still does, present tense.
We're gonna put a pin in Paris because
Okay.
I want to talk about her adult life later.
Yes.
I know it
And
will
I've watched all of those shows.
Yes. Okay, so then you got into Bravo, we guess, because of Project
Project
Runway.
Runway. Mhm.
Kind of what are your anchor shows now?
Well, for a long time, it was Vanderpump Rules.
Okay.
So I was over at my cousin. That was my first, I consider that my first Bravo show.
Yeah.
I guess it is Project Runway, but I feel like that's just on such a different category
yeah.
now
A lot of people
like what's
didn't-
out there.
Didn't realize they were in because Bravo made a like left turn with the Housewives and never
Yeah,
looked back.
Yes.
too.
And then I watched the Rachel Zoe Project
Yes.
back in the day also. And then recently, like maybe like around Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
I watched every single episode again on Bravo for the first time ever since it originally came out. And I
Okay.
would watch them live.
Was it amazing? Because I
Yes.
watched it live,
It's-
but I've never rewatched.
I would recommend. It was really, really great.
Interesting. I'm
Yes.
somebody who like rewatches a lot of these shows. Like I started reality TV so early with a lot of these shows, like Boots on the Ground. First,
Yeah, that's
Real
what I
Housewives of
want to
Orange
do.
County. I was watching them when they were airing, so I've never been a rewatcher type, but I think that one would hold up. Like I love the aspect of her styling, and I feel like that fits your middle ground. It always felt like a competition because she always had the Emmys, like a
Yeah,
big
like
moment
big
she had
clients.
to like produce for.
Yeah.
And so it was always a moment she was like reaching towards that, always like it felt satisfying in each episode.
So love that. But my very first, what I consider my first Bravo show was Vanderpump Rules, the OG season.
Did you watch that like backdoor pilot from Beverly Hills into Vanderpump?
Well, not exactly in the timeline that it aired, but still, I mean, it wasn't even season 2 of whatever first of Vanderpump before I started watching Beverly Hills. I was over at my cousin's house one day, and one of them was like, "You have to watch this show. This is amazing." And I was like, "I don't really want to watch it. I don't want a new show." And she's like, "No, you're watching it." And we watched it, and I was like, "Okay, you're right. I'm hooked." So we watched all of season 1 that she had recorded on like TiVo or whatever. And then it got me into Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
And then going back, and then I started watching the first season of Beverly Hills, because I want to say at that point maybe there was only like, I don't know, how you would know better than I would, but however many were out on TV. So I started with like season 1.
Seasons. Like it was still new compared to like what the seasons are now. But...
So I started season 1. And I've never looked back. I'm still watching it to this day, and I think that's the only one I have kept up with all the way to this day.
Interesting.
Yes. And Rachel Zoe, now the Queen Bee, is back on.
How it circles back around for you.
She's amazing. I love her. One of the best additions to the show.
I told you this, that I haven't kept up with Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Boo.
Okay, and with most housewives, if I started it, I stay with it. I may not watch it, I say like on a weekly basis, but I will kind of keep up with the season and watch 3 or 4 at a time, you know, when I can, just because I obviously have to watch a lot of TV for this podcast. Yeah. I'm annoyed with Kyle Richards. Like I go into every season lately of Beverly Hills since after the first season of the Mauricio divorce or separation, pissed off at her. Like either give it to me or don't. Beverly Hills already has 1 strike against it for me. And we went into this season and I wasn't like thrilled with the cast. I was excited about Rachel Zoe. So I was like, all right, this will be some fresh blood. I know there's another new housewife. And I think I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I love Rachel Zoe a lot, but like I can't watch this on a week. I can't watch this just for 5 minutes of her. Like I can't keep up. So like I need you to pitch me on watching this season, and you can spoil things for me because I actually love when there's a massive reason I need to go watch it and it's kind of spoiled so I understand it.
Okay, just Rachel Zoe should be the reason. That should be it alone. But her and then Bose, I don't know if you watched the last season with her.
I do know Bose.
They are carrying the show on their back. And I think Rachel Zoe's kind of an exception because of her history and just she's a lot bit more well known. When Bose came on, I was like, you are not saving the show. I don't know if I can go there, but she is such a strong housewife.
Has a voice. Her relationship with Keely just bothers me though.
They're not my favorite couple, but I think her as a housewife, and especially on the Beverly Hills cast, she has added so much to the show. Yeah. I would want her as a friend. Like that's
a good point.
Really, really great on the show. So her and Rachel together, even though they're not the closest, they don't have any beef. I'm just obsessed with them. Like what a powerhouse in Beverly Hills. It's giving like the old school vibes.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit of a newer cast. But the other new girl, Amanda, I can't stand her. I'm ready for her to leave.
That seems like a wide opinion. But people are saying that she's like the villain that Beverly Hills has been missing. She's not like an enjoyable villain. And that's what's difficult is like you do need someone that you dislike.
Right.
But are willing to watch. And so are you unwilling to watch her? Like you're like,
no, it's like a car wreck. You can't look away.
See, that's why I think she'd stay.
Well, yeah, but I think there is so much hate. Maybe one more season. She just gives off such a different energy than all of the other people. And even like when Sutton is a lot better this season, but when she's had her bad seasons, when Dorit has had some cuckoo seasons and everyone's had their moments, it's still been a different vibe than what Amanda's giving this season.
I hold Beverly Hills above every other franchise in a way because I'm like, you guys are rich. So like normally I don't like snooty people or like you need to, I don't know how to say it. Like, I want you to be so fucking rich in my face and so above me that I don't want other housewives to get. I want them to be rich, but I don't want to think that you are better than your audience, except for Beverly Hills. Yeah. And I don't think Amanda fits that. Like, I want you to be so fucking wealthy. I love when they're showing off their Birkins and like Jennifer Tilly, obsessed with anything.
She needs to be a housewife. Yes. They're not going to have a villain, but she needs to replace Amanda. Oh my God. She needs her own show. I mean, she's just so amazing. But what I do miss with the original seasons of Beverly Hills, and I guess kind of Housewives in general, when they would put, like, I'm thinking of when Lisa Vanderpump's daughter Pandora was getting married,
Yeah.
and she was with the wedding planner and they were picking out the invitations. They would show how much the invitations were. They would show
Yes.
how much things would be. And so I wish that they would do that more, because it
Agreed.
wasn't the housewife saying, like, look, I have all this money, it costs
No.
this much money. You just knew.
It was
the producer,
production fact checking what that basically estimated cost would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, you have some money. I mean, that really blew my mind. But
Like-
it's like, we get it now. We know.
Yes, like over on OC, Heather Dubrow's back, and she had a sushi dinner at Nobu. It was like catered into her house, and they talked about how much money it was because it was a disastrous night. They had to send everybody home. Nobody ate the sushi. I want to know that. I want to know how lavish you're being. Like,
Yeah.
even in these hard economic times, I want it even more.
Right.
Only on Beverly Hills, though, do I want them to be so extravagant.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They don't give us the price tags.
So I really wish that they would do that. So Andy, if you're watching,
Hey,
Andy, if you're watching, yeah,
give me some price
here's
tags.
some tips. Yeah.
Your favorites on Beverly Hills Housewives right now is
Currently,
Rachel and
uh-huh.
Bose.
That's top line.
Okay, and then who would you bring back from a previous
Camille
cast?
Grammer.
Really?
100%. Yes. You asked me earlier who my Mount Rushmore housewives would be.
Yeah.
I think I would put Camille in the top 3.
Who's the other one you said?
Lisa and then Nene.
Vanderpump?
Yeah. I am an OG Lisa fan. I don't care what
Okay.
she's done. Icon, amazing. She's just so great.
What did you think about the Lucy Apple Juicy?
Whatever. I mean, it's like everyone makes mistakes, but she's Lisa fucking Vanderpump.
Yeah.
Like
So you're
she's
team
irreplaceable.
Lisa over Kyle in the
I don't know if I'm team Lisa over Kyle.
Okay.
I think if I were Kyle, I would feel
You
all
would
the
have
feels
been
that
Kyle.
yeah. So and I would be furious at Lisa. I want to be friends with Lisa, but in the pure aspect of just watching the show
Yeah.
for what it is, like no one brings it like Lisa
I
Vanderpump.
agree.
The moat in the house, like the little thing, and the animals, and Ken
Allie.
and Jiggy, and I have a what's it called? I don't cook, a spatula with Jiggy on it. My parents got me from
Oh my
Williams Sonoma, because
God.
it's like I'm just so obsessed with her. I want to be her. My mom is like the Midwest, not as 1% version
Yes,
of
yes,
Lisa.
yes. You're so right.
She like you
She
know what I mean.
is.
So it's like I just
You
I just
see
love
that.
I
Mhm.
love her.
I know you're not watching New Vanderpump, but on a recent episode, the new guys like went to do like a small photo shoot for the Pride flyer, and they have clearly never been to her house, never watched OG Vanderpump, never seen anything about Beverly Hills, because they walk up and they're like, "What are these swans?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What are these swans? It's Lisa Vanderpump's house."
Yeah, how dare you say
And
that?
then
The
they bring the
disrespect.
backpack, and they're like, "What are these mini horses?" I'm like, "This is Villa Rosa. What do you mean?"
Yes. And also the fact that she names her houses. Like that's something only like
Rich
the
people
rich
do.
the rich of the richest do.
So true.
What an inspiration.
If you could
Love
name
her.
this house, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I can't. We'd have to do a fun little
Naming
pun.
ceremony.
Yeah.
We'll find it.
We'll find it eventually. I'm not that rich, so
Well,
especially after buying a house, and I'm in a very different tax bracket than Lisa.
Correct.
So I
You
don't
know
think I'm going to be
what?
naming my homes,
You
but
could be the Real Housewives of Lawrence.
sure.
We'll get you a plaque outside. We'll get you some fake geese.
Yes. RHOL.
Okay, so what other housewives have you dabbled in?
I mean, I've tried to watch all of them.
Okay.
For the most part, I watched. You might have to like start naming them if
Okay,
I
well,
forget.
we can go West
maybe.
Coast to East.
Yeah, why don't
so
we do
Real
that?
Housewives of Orange County.
Okay, so I started watching that after I dabbled in Beverly Hills
Okay.
originally. I immediately pivoted and would like watch that in all of my free time. I probably watched that through season 8, 9, 10, something of the sort.
Okay.
I just thought it went,
Were you there when Megan King Edmonds was on it?
hell yeah.
Literally from St. Louis.
Yes, 100%. She is amazing. Also, just like what a great addition to Housewives. Brought all the drama. I hate to say Vicky was right. I think it was her that said the thing. She's like, come to me in however many years when you're divorced.
Yes.
Like, ooh, you called it. You knew it.
Yes.
But I thought Megan was great on Housewives, but I thought there
Yeah.
was too big of an age gap between her and everyone else, where if there were more people even like 10 years older
Yeah.
or a little bit younger, I think it would have been more successful.
I agree with that.
But I think she could have been some of these women's children. Like, I don't mean that in a rude way, but I
yeah.
just don't, I think that's
'Cause
too
that's
big of a life
That's how
difference.
Gretchen was too before her.
Yeah.
And like we kind of see that struggle continue with the housewife. And I don't know what the solution is, but we like love these people who have been on it for years.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you're kind of aging out of this. And if you don't pivot your cast a little bit younger and younger,
Yeah.
it's hard to bring in new people.
And I think that's what was part of hard for me with Orange County. I thought the drama just felt kind of flat.
Yeah.
And it was just so outlandish that I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching. And then you have these women who are 60 years old
screaming
at each other. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch some new blood. I don't like this. So I stopped and I've never gone back. I do like Heather Dubrow and her closet with the little champagne button.
I know.
I could watch her closet tour video on YouTube all day, every day, all the Chanel, all the things.
People want her to move to Beverly Hills.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she doesn't live in Orange County in present day.
Yeah.
So she left the show for quite a few years. They brought her back to kind of help save it and resurrect it a little bit.
Yeah.
And she had built a dream home in that time, but like when in her absence from Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she came back, she was still living in that home. They sold the home and they got a penthouse in LA.
Bring her on Beverly Hills. That will also, I think, be so great. Her and Jennifer Tilly. Get rid of Amanda, and then you have a great cast.
Because Heather is Beverly Hills rich.
She is Beverly Hills rich.
And I hate on current OC, a lot of it is like, oh, you think you're better than us? You think you're rich? She is. She's richer than you.
Mm-hmm.
She is. And that's how I want her.
Right. That's how she's going to stay.
Yeah.
And she deserves to be on a show.
100%.
And there was, not to, again, segue too much, but Ladies of London was still is another fabulous show I will die on a hill for. Marissa Hermer is in LA. I want her to be on Beverly Hills because I think she's young enough that, but she could like keep up with the other women and that there isn't like too drastic of an age gap where it's like 30 years. Yeah. Like let's 25, 30 years, like bring you on. You've had the reality experience.
I think Beverly Hills also because they're in the like LA Hollywood life, they like are still out and about doing these things that like some of the other ladies are like living a calmer life. They're retired in a way, like they're just not, aren't living a life that is worthy of capturing on camera. But Beverly Hills, they like very, very much stay active. Yeah. In like their jobs in Hollywood, like whatever is their like real life.
Okay, but here's my pitch for Marissa. She is also a restaurant owner, an entrepreneur. So you need to stalk her on Instagram. Okay. They did have, I think, maybe one restaurant close or something, but they're very successful. So they moved from London back to LA. And so I think she's from Orange County, but I think they moved back to LA with her family, and her husband recently got divorced within maybe the last year or two. They're still business partners. They're still good friends. They're like putting their kids first.
See, that
great
would be
parents,
good to capture.
but it's good TV. And then if there's drama within her shows, not to kind of do a spin like Vanderpump or whatever, but you still kind of have that new drama. You're not trying to redo a show and everything like that. But I think it's like what great TV that would be. Okay. So again,
I like that pitch. Get her and Heather on Beverly Hills.
And Jennifer Tilly.
Yes. I would love
She deserves to be more than a friend.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think she's happy as a friend.
I agree.
You know, I don't know if she would want to ever do it full time. She doesn't strike me as
she
that.
does it for fun.
I do
too.
She does
have to like produce her life and make it chaotic. Like she likes being the quirky, fun person that we all know and love.
Yes, but I wouldn't be mad if she was on full time. I would be so happy. That would be like my dream cast.
Okay, so then Salt Lake City.
Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose side are you on after like the reunions between Meredith and Lisa and the rest of the cast?
I'm going to say if I have to pick a side, I'm going to say the rest of the cast. I just love Meredith and Lisa.
I do. They're just delusion. I need them to be able to say I'm sorry though for things.
I agree. There is a lot of Delulu energy going on, but I think I don't even want to say the OGs because there's only a handful of seasons. They have been on since season 1.
Yeah.
I think they're great. I love Whitney. I love Heather.
Bad weather.
Yeah, exactly. The cast itself is really good. And I like Angie. I like Angie K. I'm really glad she's a housewife.
Me too.
But I think this last season they had a really strong cast and I enjoyed every bit of the season.
What do you think of Brittany Bateman?
I hate her. So minus her, I get the drama she brings, but it's not happy drama. Bring in somebody else. Just bring in a different friend. Like literally the whole world is annoyed with her. Remove.
Did you see her post about Jared Osmond?
Yes.
the
Bye.
millionth breakup. Like, okay.
Don't even post it.
Don't even post it.
Don't even post it. No one cares.
Here's my
Literally
thing.
no one cares.
You can post it after you've been off of him for a month. Then I'll take you seriously. Start the timer when it's been a month and you're still broken up with him. You can announce it to the world. Stand on it. Stop flip-flopping.
I agree with that. I still don't think she should post it given the history, but I get your point.
Like, we would take
It's
the boy who cried wolf.
Yes. It's a perfect way to say it.
I heard a rumor that they're gearing up for filming the next season and they're putting in their contracts that they cannot talk about bloggers. Like, none of the storylines can be that stuff. And that if they get caught talking to bloggers, like, they're going to be fined or like not paid, or I forget what the consequence is. That's going to be a big thing because everybody's pissed off. Like, the last 2 or 3 seasons just basically being about bloggers.
Or somebody talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Even like the tabloids or something like that. Like all the drama with Lisa. Did she, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. I'm here for that. Okay.
So that would be really incredible.
I'm fine with that.
Going east. Real Housewives of Dallas.
Okay, I have tried to watch the pilot at various stages of my life over the years just to enjoy it. I cannot get past the 3rd or 4th episode. Every time I've tried, I couldn't get past it. I have no desire to try it again. And I feel really disappointed with that one because I've been to Dallas and there's so much money in Dallas. And I feel like out of pretty much all of the big cities in the United States that doesn't already have a show.
Yeah.
Or a Housewives franchise, that should be so successful, I think. So that really makes me sad.
I didn't ever really watch it, but it's because I've been watching Bravo for so long. Like, there would just be times where you like turn on the TV, and Bravo and E were always the channels I'd go to if I like didn't know that something was airing right then and there, or was just bored and needed to find something. And so I've seen some episodes, so I know the cast in like a very high level sense, but I've never dabbled in it like much more than that.
Well, I don't think we're missing much. Sorry, ladies.
No, I mean, they got canceled and they were really bad, I heard, in the end. So
yeah,
good on there.
Good riddance.
And then from there, I think it's like Atlanta.
I know we're going to talk about books and stuff later. I brought a prop.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's got some things.
Yes.
Which, for people who aren't on video, we've got the Housewives. She's new at this. We've got the Housewives, the real story behind the Real Housewives, written by Brian Moylan.
And then Not All Diamonds and Rosé by Dave Quinn. In the last few years, I've read a lot. We've talked a lot about books.
Yeah.
I forget which one of these it was. I want to say it was The Housewives. This one was entertaining. Not All Diamonds and Rosé.
That one was heavily promoted by Bravo.
Yeah, this one was fine. But I think it was this one, The Housewives, that I was reading. And it had so many Atlanta references and quotes from the wives and all these things that I just had no idea what they were talking about. And I would read them and laugh out loud as I was reading it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to start Atlanta. And I was hooked. My Mount Rushmore.
What year is this?
This was like 2022. I started Atlanta. I don't know. I think I was just like so fixated on my shows that I liked. I knew I liked them. I was locked in. I didn't care to try any of the other ones.
Before Peacock came out, it was kind of annoying to like go back and stream things and watch things. I always tell people, like, early days of Bravo, you either got on the train and were on it for life, or it was harder to like jump in.
Yes. And so I feel like this one, I just felt like I was missing something, and I watched it, and I am so happy I started it because Atlanta is one of my all-time favorite franchises. I love Nene Leakes. She's amazing. One of my top housewives ever. Her and Lisa are my top 2. Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
I just love Atlanta. It's so funny. It's so good. And then I think when you look back at a lot of them, it just, the dynamic is different in a way. So I was just hooked. And then I think kind of similarly to the OC, after, I don't know, 8 seasons, it kind of took a dip for me.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching and I haven't watched again any of the current seasons, but I was on an Atlanta high for a long time and I just binged it. And I will speak so highly of Atlanta and all of the ladies up until wherever I watched on that cast. And it was just so great. Quote Nene on a daily basis.
I love that. See, okay, we talked before this, obviously. You haven't watched Real Housewives of Potomac.
No, and I tried to watch the first, like, maybe few episodes, and I just couldn't get into it.
I understand. Yeah. I've gotten yelled at for years for not watching it. I have watched, similar to Dallas, like, I've seen some, like, episodes. I know generally the people from social media, but I never got into it. But they have iconic lines that I've known of. I don't know the context behind them, but I know what their lines are. So I think you should give Potomac another watch. And here's my pitch to you about it.
Okay.
Season 1, I don't care what other people say. Absolutely horrendous. I think
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And I have been told, because I'm doing a rewatch series, where I'll give my thoughts on TikTok after the season's over. With season 1, people told me that they were really on the etiquette of things because they were told it was supposed to be about like etiquette and high society or like things like that. So they were kind of baited into talking about that a lot. That dies off. Like that was one of my biggest annoyances.
Okay.
And so it settles into the true housewives structure in season 2.
Okay.
I've only seen through season 2 now, but like I have heard it just keeps getting better. Like I'm pretty sure season 3 through like 6 are where it just like really takes off.
Okay.
So suffer through 1.
Okay.
If you like who the people are in season 2, keep going.
You've given me this weekend a list of
I
things to
know.
watch, but I will say my personality when I watch a new show, if
Yeah.
there are multiple seasons, I have to watch from season 1.
Yeah.
So like I'm glad you're
Yes.
saying this because I can't just
Season 1 was insufferable to me.
Yeah, so I will do my best to power
And
through.
Karen Huger drives me nuts, and I don't understand how she has such a fandom, but I'm willing to understand later.
Okay.
I'm like slowly trudging through Potomac, and I don't mean that because it's bad. It's just that like there's so much TV constantly on.
No, there is, and it's hard.
Really hard to find the time.
Yeah.
Watch it, and then we can try to like sync up and watch, because I finished 2. So like try to watch season 1 and 2, and then we can sync up and continue to watch 3, 4, and beyond.
Okay.
But I've heard nothing. Like I've heard that is people's top.
I have too, and so that's why I was surprised I didn't love season 1 because I fell in love with all of these other ones when I started them late.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of what happened to me with New Jersey. So not to skip too far. So
keep going.
I never gave New Jersey a shot. I was so anti New Jersey. It just felt kind of trashy to me from all the previews.
Okay, because also when New Jersey started, there was this like big boom of New Jersey content after what was Snooki's show?
Jersey Shore.
Yes. So there was this big boom because I remember there was another show and another channel that had like a show called like Jerseylicious. Like there were like all these Jersey shows.
Yeah.
So I think it got wrapped up into Jersey.
Yes, and I think that's why I was so anti.
Yeah. Because you weren't a Jersey Shore girl, were you?
No.
Yeah.
No, but Paige was like into all of the Jersey shows.
Yeah.
And so half the time I would go over to her house and it would just be on in the background. Not even like Real Housewives, but like any of the Jersey shows. When I moved up to Philly a few years ago, I was like, well, this is kind of going to be in my neck of the woods. Maybe I'll give it a shot. That's when I started it. So 2019 before I moved. Did I move in 2018, 2019? Who cares? I think, whatever. One of those years. But then I was texting Paige and I'm like, I'm going to start this. I'm dreading it. But maybe like there will be a cool restaurant or something that just looks fun we can go to for like a weekend for the day, whatever. And she was like, you will not regret it. I probably watched it through, I don't know, whenever, a handful of seasons. Jackie came out with her eating disorder. Was a housewife. Her kid, the twins, had a birthday party, I remember. I think Teresa got married. Or it was like to Louis, or was
got engaged or something. Okay.
That was right around when I stopped.
You're probably only an episode or a season or 2 behind because like they haven't filmed it in like 2 years. Okay. And I want to circle back to this and get your thoughts on it, but Melissa and Teresa are in another feud and it has really divided the cast and they couldn't even have a reunion. Like they could not sit in the same room, these groups. And so they had to do like a reunion watch where they went to this one restaurant and they had 2 separate rooms. They arrived separately and Dolores is the only one she would go between the 2 rooms because she was like the uniter between these 2 groups. And so they all watched the finale and like just commented on it rather than like being asked questions because the finale ended in this big fight at that restaurant, I'm pretty sure. And so like they were like, we cannot get these women together for a reunion. Like they will murder each other. And they've never filmed it since.
I'm like in shock. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was
after all this time.
It was really bad.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was so fed up with the drama
between the families.
Yes. And what I didn't like, I feel like this is a somewhat controversial opinion, but what I didn't like that I think is only in New Jersey is that the first season is like family.
Yeah, you didn't like the families.
Have a few friends. I liked all of the cast.
Okay.
But I didn't like that it was more of that family aspect versus a friendship. I know. See, that's, but I love the cast, so that's where I feel like it's a
oh my god,
of an opinion,
it absolutely is.
I was watching a family reality show versus a Real Housewives franchise.
Okay.
And so I think if I would have started New Jersey years previously,
Mhm.
I would have a different opinion. But because I've watched all of these other ones where it's just purely friendship, I was like, I'm not watching this for like
Interesting.
your shitty family drama.
No, I am.
Yeah. But I understand why that's such a big thing.
I tell everyone that, especially people, I'm shocked you don't like it, because I tell anybody who's ever watched Beverly Hills but never New Jersey, I go, if you think the Richards sister dynamic is fascinating, get a load of New Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a good perspective.
Oh my God, I love the family dynamics.
Yeah.
I think it adds a fresh level because it makes it stand out from the rest of the franchises.
Yeah.
I liked it when there were multiple families. The fact that it's just the Gorga Judices is annoying me now, because their family rift has taken over.
Yes, and that's kind of why I stopped.
Yeah.
Because it was just too much. And again, where you're in your 50s and 60s and you're fighting over the same thing for 10 years. Enough is enough, and it's on TV. Find different drama at least.
Yeah.
Because
I don't mind
waste of my time.
the sister-in-laws not liking each other. Like, that's normal life. Sure. I get that. Right. But it's that we keep rehashing the same thing that happened 8 years ago. What side are you on also between the two? Are you not on a side? Are you just team I hate that they fight? Or do you like Teresa or Melissa?
I would say Melissa more than Teresa.
Okay, me too. Thank God.
I would just overall probably say not a side. I'm team everyone else. Like, both of them get off the show. Teresa shouldn't have any more airtime.
Agreed.
I'm glad she came back after jail, because I liked those seasons.
Amazing.
But everything else, I'm just so
My big hang up with Teresa is that Melissa and Joe, they do things wrong. All parties do things wrong. Yeah. And I think that they know that they do things wrong and then can apologize, and they can try to do the recovery and move on. Yeah. And yeah, they may do some shitty things again. Teresa can never say I'm sorry. And a housewife that can never say I'm sorry, get off my screen, get out of here.
Yes. Say it louder for the people in the back. That is so accurately stated of what it is, and it's such a problem. Take accountability, and then she gets mad when other people can't take accountability.
Yep.
She's such a
She
hypocrite.
preaches so much of things she would never do herself, and I hate it. Like, to me, the reunion, I'm all about do all the shitty things, say all the shitty things, apologize them for at the reunion, hug it out, and let's, reset and redo for next year. Find a new reason to fight. I'm fine that you do shitty things. You just got to say the I'm sorry. And Teresa cannot. And like, Andy has spoon fed it to her year over year, and she can't.
She can't do it
because she's done some terrible things.
She really has. On top of what she did to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yes. To her friendships and family. It's like, I can't handle it. So
I agree.
That was kind of that. And then I know New York is right there, but that I love. So to quickly go south.
Wait, hold on. Back to New York really quickly. Did you watch the reboot?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought
like willing to watch it. Yeah. I've heard that they started filming up again.
Okay, that makes me happy to hear. I was sad. Did you watch the reboot?
I did.
Okay, I liked Brynn. I was sad though at all of the drama, so I get why she's no longer.
Absolutely, I hated what she did in that second season.
Yeah, I admire her for showing up to the reunion though.
I agree.
For sticking it out for truly the end of
that
the
is
season.
So true.
But the whole thing was really hard to watch,
and she did
out that it didn't
own her stuff and well, she somewhat did and apologized to Uba, and I think they got on a better terms. We're not going to be always and so I think that reunion was well done given the seriousness.
Yeah, but I just thought some of the other. I mean, I think there will always be changes from season 1 to 2 for the most part.
Yeah,
and as you continue in the series. So I hope that maybe some of the ladies, obviously besides Brynn, are different. Mm-hmm. I don't think they've perfected the cast.
I agree.
I think that's why I don't love it. I really like Erin. I really like
Me
Sai.
too. Me too.
So I think they're two of my favorites on there. But I even like Jessel. Like, she's pretty funny and brings some drama.
Okay, I've really come around on Jessel.
Yes. So I don't know. I think they're kind of core people who were in season 1.
Yeah.
Are pretty good.
Yeah. Building out around the core. Yeah.
You got to try it out.
100%.
Only thing to redo it. It's like, I get it.
Yeah.
You're just kind of trying it and seeing what sticks. So I'm happy that they're doing it because I think that they really needed a facelift.
Agreed.
They needed new people.
Yeah.
And I want them to do that to New Jersey. That would make...
That's what they're really trying. They're not willing to give up on the franchise. They're really trying to recast it. And Teresa and Melissa have made up, quote unquote.
I've seen that on social media.
So we'll see what happens there. I believe that they have that. I believe that they have for the cameras. They all need their jobs back. Like,
Yeah,
I would do. Yeah.
So yeah, they're living a nice cushy life and now
Need to
they're
keep paying
scared.
for
Yeah,
it.
so
Absolutely. Okay, so down to Miami.
I couldn't ever get into Miami.
Okay.
I think I watched maybe all of the first season, just was not my favorite compared to at the time all of the other ones I was watching and loved. And then a couple years ago, maybe 2022 or 2023, I went on a friend's bachelorette party to Miami. And I was like, you know what, I'm bored. I just need to watch this and kind of get inspired for this trip.
Yeah.
And I think I made it through season 2 just to push myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I didn't continue, but I feel like that's all of them.
I think
and DC I never watched.
Okay, but I want to watch because do you know what happens in that season?
I've read about it.
The couple that
In one of
sneaks
the
in.
books.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned about it in the book.
I knew that happened when it aired, but I also wasn't watching it. So I'm like, it's a one seasoner that I'm like,
maybe it's good for the one season.
well, they kind of had to cancel it because of some of that stuff. And I think then they like pivoted to Potomac later on because DC came before Potomac.
Right.
And I always wonder if like I should cover just that one season of DC because doing all the housewives with a podcast is a lot.
So much. Yeah. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it.
So I can't, and I don't like going back too much to old seasons. Like it is fun, but like to do that with every housewife. But DC, because I've never watched it, I have always thought it'd be really fun to podcast about.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Screw it.
It's probably 8 episodes. Most of the first season shows are 8 episodes. God, are there any other housewives? I mean, there's the ones from like Canada and Melbourne and stuff like that. Now, like, oh, you mentioned really wanting to watch Real Housewives of London, but we don't get it in the US.
No, we need to. Caroline.
Wait, Dubai.
She was on Dubai.
Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. We need to talk about Real Housewives of Dubai. Did you watch that?
I watched the first season. I don't remember it well.
Okay, I never watched it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like that was the first one. Ladies of London obviously was very different.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the first true kind of housewives vibe internationally that we got a taste of.
That's true.
And I really liked it. I've never been to Dubai.
Me neither.
I thought it'd be really cool to see what life would be like for these women living lavishly. And it was fine. It was okay. For the one season of just being bored and watching a couple episodes, it was okay, not compelled to ever watch another one.
And this is probably why I got 2 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch season 2.
Yeah.
I love Caroline. I love everyone in Ladies of London. I will say that 800 times. She's awesome. I still follow her on social media.
Well, she was on this season of, I know you don't watch this, but this season of Traitors with Lisa Rinna and Candace from Potomac, who's a huge icon there. There was one other Dorinda came back because she was on the previous season of Traitors, came back for another season because Dorinda was first out. So they let her have another pass at it. But
okay, so Potomac, Traitors, and Summer House are all mine.
Oh yeah, I made Allie watch the first. Well,
I was falling asleep.
Not because of Summer House. And we turned it on because our friend Nick has seen the later seasons. He's watching currently and wants to know the sacred text. And so we put it on. Him and I were locked in.
Yes. Me and my husband were
locked out.
Right next to everybody on the couch, sleeping.
But I think you will really like it. It's a nice change of pace from Housewives and what I call like really chaotic, really produced drama, because a lot of the drama on Summer House is captured by their surveillance footage. So it's people in natural settings.
Yeah, okay, like that.
So producers aren't always boots on the ground with them. Like their late nights, whenever they get home from partying, are all surveillance footage. And they have some like, it reminds me of college. The diabolicalness, the chaotic drunken moments are like all caught on camera. That first season we just watched, I was telling Nick that they don't have themed parties like they do in the next few seasons. It's not the same structure that he was currently watching, but so the later seasons they follow a really structured format of how they just like manage their lives. Is they drive from New York, they all have like normal jobs, was the premise, 9 to 5s, and then they all go to this house in the Hamptons on the weekends. So they're stressed out from work, all they want to do is like party and get drunk and have a good time. So they usually get there on Friday like afternoon. They usually do a dinner on Friday night all together at the house. If there was any drama from the previous weekend, their structure is you sort it out at that table in front of everybody. So people air out the most insane things. Couples air out their marriage drama at the table. And you're like, what's going on here? And then half the group will go out in present day, half of them stay in. We're really annoyed at the people staying in because it's like, go out and party. The chaotic guys will come home at like 4 a.m, make drunk food. Like that's always just really funny, but you're just getting like fast clips of these people.
Yeah.
And then Saturday they host parties that like the public comes to, and they're insane themed parties. They always start with the 4th of July, and then every person basically has to throw a themed party, and they each get tagged with a Saturday. And then people get kicked out, and they usually like order in food for Saturday night dinner. And then people go out, and then they have to drive home on Sunday. And then you'll see like a few clips of them in their like work week during the week.
I like that. That
Yeah.
does sound like a good change of pace.
Yeah, it's like the adult version of Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Because they don't all work together, but they all like party together still. And it really started with a real friend group, which was nice.
Yeah, and I did back in the day watch the crossover with Vanderpump.
Yes.
I do remember watching that.
Yeah, because it was another backdoor pilot. Like I know you didn't get that Beverly Hills one, but the people who were there, boots on the ground when it happened, remember those backdoor pilots.
Yeah.
And they were smooth.
Yeah, it was really, really smooth. Okay, so I'll give that a shot. I have a lot of TV to watch.
Yes, you do.
I'm excited.
Me too. We didn't dabble into any other non-Bravo shows, so we'll have to bring you back and we'll dive into the Netflix shows. And
I watch a lot.
I know. I am excited, but thank you so much for joining us, Allie.
Thanks for having me.
And with that, thanks for joining. Bye.